Did you call bank? I call game.
Video was made possible and sponsored by MMOCS. Buy cheap NBA 2K MT at MMOCS.com. Use my promo code PACG and you can get a 5% discount. What's up, Pack Nation? It's Pack here. Today I am talking about the most underrated players in NBA 2K19 from every single team in the NBA according to NBA 2K19. I look at their ratings and talk about which players are rated way too low. Before this video starts, join the Pack Nation, subscribe to this channel. Let's get this video started always with the Philadelphia 76ers with JJ Redick. Here's the thing about JJ Redick. He is right now the second leading scorer on the Philadelphia 76ers, and he is playing the best basketball he ever has in his career at 34 years old. Yet, rating-wise, he's the fourth best player on this team. I'm not saying he's better than Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, or Joel Embiid at all, but he's not a 79 overall. Personally, he's been playing the best basketball he ever has. He should be an 82 overall, +3 for JJ Redick. The next player is on the Milwaukee Bucks, and that is Eric Bledsoe. So he was kind of hard to pick from. The problem with this team is that everyone is doing pretty well just because this is one of their best seasons ever. But Malcolm Brogdon and Eric Bledsoe are both 80 overall, but yet Bledsoe I feel like is playing just slightly better. They're statistically averaging the same except for defense. Eric Bledsoe's getting more blocks and steals, but when you're talking about just defense alone, Eric Bledsoe's better. I had to pick Eric Bledsoe over Malcolm Brogdon just slightly, so that's why I think Eric Bledsoe should be an 82 overall. The Bulls is another team that was kind of hard to decipher and pick. I picked Justin Holiday. The reason why is because he has a 74 overall rating, which is really low, and he's the third leading scorer on this team. Yeah, right now he's the third leading scorer on the Bulls. That's gonna change whenever Bobby Portis gets better from his injury, and so same thing with Lauri Markkanen, but Justin Holiday right now should be a 76 overall. I think he's better than Robin Lopez. The next player on this list is Jordan Clarkson on the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I wanted to pick Tristan Thompson just because I think everyone in this team, he's playing the best defense, rebounding, and scoring, but Jordan Clarkson is probably the best scorer on this team. The thing about Jordan Clarkson is he's getting 16 points per game, but playing less minutes than a all-star would, which is like 30, 32 a game. He's only playing like 26 minutes a game. If he was playing all-star numbers, he could be averaging almost 20 points per game. I think Jordan Clarkson should probably either be as good or better than Tristan Thompson, so he's 79 overall. I also believe Tristan Thompson should go up, so they should both be about a 79 overall. The next player for the Celtics, believe it or not, is, wait for it, Marcus Morris Sr. The reason I'm picking Marcus Morris Sr. and not Kyrie Irving, I wanted to make Kyrie Irving a 93 overall because he's playing as good as he was playing last year, and he was a 93 overall in 2K18. But I'm picking Marcus Morris Sr. The reason why I'm picking Marcus Morris, one of the twin brothers, is because of how well he's playing. He is the third leading scorer on this Celtics team that's probably going to make the NBA Finals. That's my personal opinion. I think the Celtics are somehow going to make the NBA Finals. The Raptors might give him a good battle, but I'm still counting on the Celtics, right? Marcus Morris has been the third leading scorer for this team. Not only that, he's playing better than he ever has before. He's been playing as good as Jaylen Brown, as good as Gordon Hayward, and they're in the 80s, so Marcus Morris should also be in the 80s. I think either 80 or an 81 for Marcus Morris. That's what I believe. The next team is the LA Clippers. Now, this team has been surprising everyone as the #1 team in the West, the West. And I'm going to have to pick Montrezl Harrell, the guy that's been surprising everyone. You could even argue one of the most improved players in the NBA if Zach LaVine didn't exist. This guy is playing so well on this team, playing just as good as Lou Williams and Danilo Gallinari. Not better than Tobias Harris, but I do believe as good as Lou Williams. So I honestly could say he could be an 80, 81. I'm scared to give him an 82. I'd say give him an 81 to tie up with Danilo Gallinari. He's just been that impactful for this team defensively, scoring, rebounding, everything. I say give him an 81. The next is the similar situation with the Clippers, Memphis Grizzlies. And I'm picking Mike Conley for the most underrated player on this team. You're like, Pac, how is he the most underrated when he's the second best player on this team? That's the thing. He should be the best player on this team. Marc Gasol is great, don't get me wrong. You could argue the greatest Grizzly player ever, franchise-wise, but Mike Conley has been playing like his money is worth it, okay? Mike Conley is freaking good. I'd say even better than Marc Gasol. Statistically, he's scoring the most on the team, getting the most assists. Obviously, he's not getting the most rebounds because Marc Gasol exists. but Mike Conley's a great defender too. I'd pick Mike Conley just barely over Marc Gasol, make him an 86. That's what I believe. Now with the Hawks, I would have said Trae Young, but I'm actually picking John Collins. The thing with John Collins is that he was injured for most of the season and he's come back and playing just as good as when he was last year. If he was playing all-star minutes, which is like 32 to 36 minutes a game, he'd be averaging 20 points per game, the best rebounder on the team already. He's not playing like a 79 overall. He's playing like an 80, maybe even an 81 overall for John Collins. When you think about it, the Hawks have a pretty good future ahead of them. Now, for the Miami Heat, this is the situation, okay? They keep upgrading him, but he needs more upgrades. Josh Richardson, 80 overall. He has to. I personally believe today, and you can disagree with me, I believe he's playing better than Goran Dragic, and Goran Dragic's an 82 overall. That's why I'd pick Josh Richardson, who is the leading scorer by a lot on this team, as the second best player on the team behind Whiteside, as an 83 overall. Yes, I believe he's that good, and he's great defensively. Just Josh Richardson is balling this year. Now, for the Hornets, this one was kind of hard to pick from. I was going to pick Tony Parker, but I'm actually picking Kemba Walker, okay? Kemba Walker is an 89 overall and playing better than Kyrie Irving, right? As playing as good as Damian Lillard. These are guys who are in the 90s, 91, 92, and Kemba Walker's an 89. I understand why, though. He's playing on a team that there's no one here. Jeremy Lamb's getting, I think, like 12, 13 a game. Same with Tony Parker. And those are the two second leading scorers. The team is struggling when it comes to finding another player that can score. So Kemba Walker's been doing everything. That doesn't change the fact that he's great. And I think he should be a 91 overall. For the Utah Jazz. So this is actually one of the hardest ones to pick. I didn't know who to pick for this team at all because I'm not saying they're underwhelming, but I'm saying because the West is so good, they haven't really shown that they're one of the best teams yet. I'm gonna say Donovan Mitchell is the most underrated on this team because he's an 86 overall, Rudy Gobert is an 89, but Donovan Mitchell's the leading scorer, and sure, his efficiency isn't amazing, but he's kind of coming to the sophomore season, which historically is always kind of like a rough season for players. I don't know, man. I'm gonna say Donovan Mitchell should be an 87, so +1 for him, and that's it. But I do think Donovan Mitchell is underrated just slightly for this team. So for the Sacramento Kings, this team has been doing so good and surprising everyone. They might make the playoffs. It's going to be hard for them, but they can. But Buddy Hield is one of the biggest reasons, one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA right now. Playing out of his mind, can score like crazy, leading scorer for the team, and he's the third player on the team. Maybe De'Aaron Fox is better than him. Maybe. Willie Cauley-Stein isn't better. They're even, I think, at least. So Buddy Hield should be an 81 overall. For the Nueva York Knicks, there's a lot of players I could argue for. I'm gonna pick Emmanuel Mudiay. It could be Emmanuel Mudiay or Trey Burke. This is basically the exact same argument for both of these players. Playing not enough minutes, scoring very well, getting good at the most assists on the team, which isn't a good sign because they're only getting like 3 a game, and playing better than usual for the past couple weeks. Both Emmanuel Mudiay and Trey Burke are doing the exact same thing. Both should be at least a 76 overall. So both of them. Some of you might not like the argument I'm about to make, and I can see why. I understand y'all are gonna get upset with me, but I believe in this firmly. LeBron James is obviously the best player on this team, but the second best player, Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram are tied for the second best player with someone else. It's not just these two. I believe these two are pretty even when it comes to just stats and influence on the team right now. There's one other player I think is tied with them, 81 overall, and it should be JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee has been playing the best defense on the team, swatting every shot coming his way. Extremely efficient. He's literally playing like a slightly worse DeAndre Jordan. I see no reason why he's not an 81 overall. He's been consistent too. He's not like Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma who all of a sudden get 20 and then like, what, 10? This guy's getting constantly like 12, 10, 12. Like, he's doing very, very solid for this team. I have to pick JaVale McGee as tied for the second best player on this team right now. Halfway there, guys, with the Magic. You could argue a couple players, but I think it's Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross is playing as good as Mo Bamba, playing some of the best basketball he's ever played in his career. 78 overall, I think, for Terrence Ross. So for the Mavericks, I was going to pick Wesley Matthews because I don't think he really should be a 76 overall. I'm picking Luka Doncic. So, the problem isn't that Luka Doncic is an 82 overall. The problem is DeAndre Jordan's an 84. I think the most influence on this team right now has been Luka. Luka has definitely been the best player on this team. But DeAndre Jordan, of course, is like, I can't just lower DeAndre Jordan's rating down because I understand how good he is. And I just made the argument for JaVale McGee. So I think Luka Doncic should be an 84 overall, tied at least with DeAndre Jordan. So for the Nets, believe it or not, I'm sorry, Nets fans, no one. I don't think anyone has been underrated so far this season. You can kind of say Joe Harris, he's a great three-point shooter, maybe a 78 overall. Besides that, I can't give anyone else really like an upgrade for this team. So for the Nuggets, Monte Morris, only a 74 overall. Shooting good threes, coming off the bench, being a very important player for this team, surprisingly good. I don't see why Monte Morris isn't a 76 overall with Mason Plumlee and Trey Lyles. He's been doing his part, playing good. I see nothing wrong with this player. Now I'm on the Indiana Pacers with Domantas Sabonis. Dude, this guy has been balling out, especially because Victor Oladipo has been out with injury. Domantas Sabonis has been easily the best player as Victor Oladipo has been gone. I think so. Just rebounding wise, scoring in the paint. This guy has been playing out of his mind. He should be an 83 overall. And he's only 22 years old. Dude, the Pacers have a pretty good future too, man. I thought they're pretty crazy. I know I'm going off topic, but dude, Sabonis is good. Almost the exact same argument for Nikola Mirotic. He's only an 81 overall. Also doing great scoring, great rebounding, just playing out of his mind. And he's been doing that since the beginning of the season. Scoring very, very well. It's because he shaved, obviously. I think he should be an 83 overall, just like Domantas Sabonis. The Pistons, this is going to be a very short argument. Blake Griffin is playing as good, if not better, than Andre Drummond, and I've been saying this all season, and it continues to be the truth. He should be at least an 89 overall, and I see no reason why he's an 87 overall. It shouldn't be happening. For the Raptors, I'm surprised how well Serge Ibaka has been doing for the past couple weeks. He's only an 81 overall, considered the 5th best player on this team. And I was going to say that Pascal was the 3rd best player on this team, but I'm going to change my mind now. Serge Ibaka has been straight up the most underrated player on this team so far, dude. He has been playing better than Pascal Siakam, and so I have to give him an 84 overall. So for the Rockets, as we all know, the Rockets have not been playing as good as they're supposed to be, but there's one player that is pretty underrated, and that is Daniel House, a new player on the team. Only played 4 games for the Rockets so far. Daniel House, a 69 overall, getting like 9 points per game in very little minutes. I believe he's playing like a 75 overall. That may change for the moment, but right now I think 75 overall would be good for Daniel House. Another team that is not doing as good as I want them to, the Spurs, but there's one player that's been shining this year, and that is Bryn Forbes. How is he only 74 overall as the 4th best leading scorer? I couldn't tell you. He's just been doing so good. He's better than Jakob Poeltl and Davies, so I think that Bryn Forbes is probably 77 overall. Just in terms of scoring, three-point shooting, everything. He's been doing great. For the Suns, I understand that people are upset with Josh Jackson not being as good as they want him to be, but he's not a 73 overall. Y'all need to calm down, 2K. He's still a young, raw talent that can score. He's super athletic. He's not 73 overall bad. Even statistically, he's not. I say he's a 76 overall. Now, for the Thunder, we might be looking at our 6th man of the year, Dennis Schroeder. He is a 79 overall right now, and I believe he should be an 81 at least. He's been playing so well. Maybe an 80 overall. He definitely needs to be in the 80 overall club. Dennis Schroeder is trying to fight for that 6th man of the year award. Derrick Rose won't be getting it because he's not a bench player anymore. He's a starter. So Dennis Schroeder might be getting it this year. We shall see. Speaking of Derrick Rose, he's only an 80 overall, and that is so wrong. He's averaging 20 points per game right now, and he's even doing better than that, really. He's just been doing so well for this team. He's playing less minutes too. Derrick Rose is back, baby. I'm not saying MVP, but he should be like an 85 overall, 86 even. He's playing so well. For the Blazers, I wasn't gonna pick anyone, but you know what? I'm picking the Sauce, Nick the Sauce Stauskas. 73 overall, great three-point shooter. I've seen him ball out. He should be doing much better than this, at least rating-wise, 73. He needs to be like a 75 overall for the Blazers. For the Warriors, again, another team that's hard to pick anyone, but I had to pick Steph Curry. I personally believe Steph Curry is the tied best player on this team. He is so important, and we saw that with his absence. Kevin Durant is a 97. Steph Curry should be a 97. They're tied for the best player on this team. I believe that. And then finally, the Wizards. Just like Marcus Morris has been doing good, so has his brother. Not as good as Marcus, but Markieff Morris should be a 77 overall, just statistically. This whole team is bad, by the way. The Wizards have been struggling so aggressively, but Markieff Morris has been doing his job, and that's why I think Markieff Morris should go to a 77 overall. But that is his list, you guys. Do you agree or disagree with me? Leave it in the comments below, and if you like my channel, give it a sub, and I'll see you guys next time.
Did you call back?